Hello everyone and welcome to an oversimplified guide to none other than Aphex Twin. Born in Ireland on the 18th of August 1971, Richard David James and his family would soon move to Cornwall, where he would spend his childhood and grow an interest in electronics. At the age of 14, the young Richard would start making music, which, though unreleased, according to the man himself, was very similar to acid and techno, thus making him buy every record related to this genre, and work as a DJ at different clubs and raves in the growing underground acid house scene. Then, in September 1991, the 20-year-old Richard surprised the world with his EP, Analog Bubble Bath, released under the Aphex pseudonym, one of his many nicknames. Later, he would release Analog Bubble Bath 2 and would then collaborate with Mike Dredd in order to release the Red EP, all three of which having a bombastic acid house sound. In 1992, Mr. Richard would release his first two EPs under the Aphex Twin pseudonym. Yes, that also includes like the Aphex Twin, though that would only happen on these EPs, these being Didgeridoo and Xylem Tube. Finally, Mr. Richard would release his first studio album, Selected Ambient Works 85 to 92. Now, do not be fooled by the ambient within this record's name, as this selection of works features various songs from different genres, such as acid, ambient techno, normal techno, and a rather blurry genre title of IDM, standing for Intelligent Dance Music. Aphex Twin himself stated in an interview that he doesn't find the label very appropriate, as it basically means that everything else people listen to is dumb and all this is smart. And I get that opinion. After that, he would release the Pac-Man EP under the Power Pill pseudonym. This record featuring breakbeat style tracks, a possible foreshadowing for Aphex Twin's future works, and afterwards, he released Analog Bubble Bath 3. Moving on, in 1993, Mr. Richard changed his record label to Warp, and released the wonderful Surfing on Sine Waves under the Polygon Window pseudonym. And later in the same year, he released Quoth, also under the Polygon Window nickname. Also in 1993, under the Aphex Twin moniker, he would release the On EP. Now, even though the title track is a soothing synth-driven song, the rest of the tracks on the EP are loud acid-like beats. Approaching the end of the year, Bradley's Robot under the Bradley Strider nickname would be released. In 1994, Aphex Twin would release his second album, Selected Ambient Works Volume 2. Now this is a creepy yet comforting album. This LP went all the way with the ambience. Also, just a quick teeny tiny note. This album is almost 3 hours long. Not a big deal. Also in 1994, he would release the Classics compilation, featuring various older works from Analog Bubble Bath 1, Didgeridoo, and Xylem Tube. In 1995, Mr. Richard would surprise the world with the highly experimental, loud and noisy I Care Because You Do. This album was something else, featuring glitchy, fast-paced beats, similar to drill and bass tracks. However, this album also features some other kinds of songs, such as Alberto Balsam and Cow Cut is a Twin, being more relaxed and calm. In the same year, Aphex Twin released Donkey Rhubarb, a rather goofy EP, which paved the way for his next album. In 1996, the Richard D. James album was released to the world. This was Aphex Twin's shortest album yet, clocking in at just a bit more than half an hour. This record was very goofy and didn't take itself very seriously, and yet it sounds amazing. Afterwards, in 1997, Mr. Richard surprised the world once more with the infamous Come to Daddy. This EP was absolutely wild, but do not be put off by the title track, as the rest of the EP is a collection of tracks from various genres, where songs like Flim and Is Us are much more relaxing and nostalgia-inducing. Funny Little Man is an alien-sounding jumble of melodies. In 1999, Aphex Twin would reach his peak popularity with the single Window Licker. This song is so funky, using vocal chops reminiscent of moans and ending the track with a loud, distorted melody. And the music video for this one is super weird. Like, you have these two guys trying to get some girls, then Mr. Richard pops out of a 69-meter long limousine, and then the girls get Mr. Richard's face, then they do some rather naughty stuff, then they tease the guys out of the limo's sunroof, then they do a dance choreography, then this monstrosity appears, and then Mr. Richard sprays champagne on a woman's butts. What is going on? I love this song! As 2001 came and went, Aphex Twin released his last album for the next 13 years. Drugs was a bunch of different songs which, according to him, were on an MP3 player that he left on a plane, and as such, to avoid a possible leak, he quickly released songs as an album. Afterwards, in 2005, Mr. Richard released the Analord series, a collection of EPs released under the Aphex pseudonym, made entirely using analog equipment. I have yet to review these EPs on my blog, however I plan on doing that rather soon, probably after I finish reviewing Nuremberg. In 2007, Confederation Truff and Rush Up Edge were released under the new nickname The Tuss. After a long break in 2014, Aphex Twin released Cyro, a collection of funky, synth-driven songs with calm beats. Later that year, he would release a bunch of unreleased songs on SoundCloud, which were unfortunately removed. However, over the course of several months in 2015, Mr. Richard anonymously uploaded 230 tracks onto SoundCloud, in an event that is commonly referred to by fans as the SoundCloud dump. You can find him at this account, where the dump took place. After that, he would release Computer-Controlled Acoustic Instruments Part 2 and the Cheetah EP, both of which being rather bland in content, though the latter has a music video directed by a 12-year-old. And I must say that this is the peak of cinematography. Like, look at this! Another video would be released in 2018 for the Collapse EP, which contains some very flashy images, so be warned. And in 2019 he released Peel Session 2, another boring EP. And so, that was an oversimplified guide to Aphex Twin. This video doesn't do justice for my love and respect for Mr. Richard, but I hope I opened your eyes to one of the most influential electronic artists of all time. If you enjoyed, give this video a like and maybe even subscribe. That's all for now. Goodbye everyone.